Thanks for having me. I talk a little bit about my career and what led me to here to, may I move? Is it okay if I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's his stuff, so.
I don't know how, what led me to Texas Women's, and then I will open the floor for questions if you have any. Texas Women's University. Oh, you're absolutely right. I get corrected all the time on that. Texas Women's University.
That didn't take long, did it?
Thank you for being here. She walks out the door.
I know. He's right. When you're right, you're right. I started my journey with this wrestling thing in high school. I was a senior in high school when I started. I thought I was a basketball player. Eventually I got cut from the basketball team. I'm very short and wasn't very good. And one way to avoid a PE class is to join a sport. Didn't want to be in PE. Went and talked to the wrestling coach to actually be a manager. And he said something snarky to me. I can't remember. So it was something rude. Anyway, I ended up participating, and kind of the rest is history. I was actually headed to UNT for college, but a small junior college in Kansas recruited me to wrestle, and something that seemed like a bad idea turned out to be a good idea. My mom was like, "What are you talking about? What are you wrestling? You're going to Kansas, you're going to a junior college." But it actually helped me out. I wasn't the strongest college student at first. It took me a while to get the hang of it. So being at the junior college helped me. And wrestling back then, we wrestled college, and we also wrestled international competitions because there just wasn't that many of us. And because I went to a small school and a smaller team, I got to participate. I wasn't sitting the bench, even though I was relatively new to wrestling. Long story short, I got good fast. Started to get recruited to go to the Olympic Training Center. I went to the Olympic Training Center, got good again fast. You know, each level you go up, you kind of have to start at the bottom. Got to the training center, probably got beat up for a solid year. And I started picking it up, and next thing I know, I'm on a plane to China to represent us for my country.
Is that Colorado Springs?
Yeah, I was out there. Did well, won a medal. Plenty of stories. I'm sure you'll have questions. I'm happy to answer them. And then shortly after I quit wrestling, not to get into it, it's a really tough job to be an athlete. And I was very young, and I was having a little bit issues with one of the coaches on the coaching staff. Had I known what I know now, I would have never left, but I was young. And anyway, I left. That coach ended up leaving, and I came back. But I couldn't tell my parents, hey, help me with this dream again. So the way I funded my career, don't hate me, okay? The way I funded my career is I joined the Army. The Army has a wrestling team.
Nobody in here that say anything.
I joined the Army. I knew they had a wrestling team. I was
on the wrestling.
I went on a wrestling.
Oh, okay.
team. I was in the Army for 28 years.
I made part of that.
I was gonna say, I want to see your kid Bill.
The only issue is our Air Force person's not here, so then you're good.
Chair Force. Just kidding. So yeah, I joined the Army. I knew that they had a team. I competed against them. I knew I had met the requirements to be on the team. So I did that for the next 4 years. I wrestled and went into the 2016 Olympics team trials where I got third. I actually lost to the girl who ended up winning gold in the 2020 Olympics, 2021 Olympics. And so that I decided it's time to move on, and I needed to start building my career outside of wrestling. So I became a soldier, just a soldier, not a soldier athlete. Did my time and started just kind of building my career as a coach. I picked up an assistant job in South Carolina, and then the position opened here up at Texas Women's, and I applied for it, and thankfully I got it. So this is what brought me to Texas Women's. Thank you. Like Daniel said, this is our first year. I spent a year recruiting. I started with 36 girls. I'm down to 22 now. And this year is our first year competing, and they're doing quite well. It's a little bit of a shift. Women's wrestling is different style from what they do in high school. They do a folk style, but once women leave high school, they do freestyle. So it's been difficult for them to pick it up if they've never done it before. And a lot of coaches down here, I don't think they realize it, and they definitely don't know freestyle. And there's a reason for that. And if you have questions, I'll answer that. So no, it's been really good. It's been awesome building a program there. The culture there is amazing. It's a tough school. It is co-ed, 90% women, but it is co-ed. And it's just a lot of students who aren't even athletes that are there like pursuing their goals. And that's exactly what I wanted to bring a wrestling team to, like not just wrestling, but there's other stuff that you want to get good at, especially during your college years. And if you want to move on and to do the things that I did after college, that's fine too, but it's definitely important to develop yourself outside of your sport. So we have that, like, I feel like the athletes and the students kind of reflect well for each other. So it's been great. And that's pretty much my whole spiel. I'm ready for questions. Yeah.
So they have two questions. One, what small college did you go to in Kansas?
Oh, I went to Neosho County Community College. It's in Chanute. It's like 6 hours from Dallas.
I've never been to Chanute, but I mean, I grew up in, we moved there when I was to Wichita, Kansas when I was 12, so I was like, when you're Kansas, like, oh, there's a connection. Also, what is the difference between folk style versus freestyle? Is that what what our high school programs do is folk and then they do freestyle?
Yeah, so all programs do folk style. Okay.
What kind of stuff?
Folk style.
FOLK?
Yes. Folk style, yeah.
What? Oh, that just strikes me as an odd name.
and it's an American style.
Banjos playing in the background.
Yeah, it's an American style, and only Americans wrestle that. Okay,
Well, there's
every
your band.
country has their own style of wrestling, but we all do, like, as the world. Like if I go to Worlds and I go to the Olympics, we all wrestle freestyle, men and women. But every country has like its own thing. It's pretty cool. Like Turkey does this oil wrestling thing. Mongolia has this other thing where they just throw each other. Everybody has their own style, but collectively we wrestle internationally as freestyle. Here in America, folk styles are style, but it kind of, the popularity supersedes international style. So most people are trained in folk style. Like the college, like Iowa, Oklahoma, Big Ten, all of them do folk style and really popularize folk style. So not many people here in America pay attention to freestyle.
But you were prepared for freestyle.
I'm sorry?
You must have been prepared for freestyle if you participated in the Olympics.
I was. In high school, I did not wrestle freestyle. But when I left high school and went to college, I started my freestyle career. It's very similar. I think what gets in the way of my team is like they're thinking about it too much. But I didn't change the way I wrestled. The points changed, but I didn't change the way I wrestled. So I was able to pick it up faster. I think it's more of a mindset thing. I'm trying to get them there, but they're freshmen. So
What are the finite? What's the difference between the two styles?
So the main difference is top bottom. In folk style, if you're on bottom, you're trying to get up, you're trying to get out, you're trying to escape, all of that, reversal, all of that. In freestyle, you don't really have to do that. You're trying not to expose your back. So top person is trying to turn you and you're trying not to get turned. And if there's no action, they put you back on your feet really fast. So that's the main difference.
When I was at North Texas, I took an activity class and they called it collegiate wrestling.
Folk style.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So one guy's
Yep.
hands and knees, the down guy,
Yeah.
and the top guy's got his hand on his back and his abdomen.
Right here. What is this? Tricep and abdomen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time. Been 50 years.
Demonstrate that, Joe.
It was great. It was great fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
You may think that.
It's that oil thing that I wanted.
That's in Turkey.
Okay, that's not what we do. Yeah, you can go to Turkey for that.
Randy,
Mhm.
you guys competing with UNT?
No, so UNT is a club team. And I don't know what kind of style of wrestling that they do. They might be even doing collegiate, but we're NCAA D2. So we compete against the other NCAA schools and the NAIA schools in town. But
Which are where?
I'm sorry,
Where is, because I can't think of another school in Texas
that's NCAA.
that does collegiate
So-
wrestling.
Okay, there's actually four. Wayland Baptist up in North Texas somewhere. Texas Wesleyan has a team. We have a team, and Shriner University has a team. The other NCAA school is Shriner. The rest are NAIA here in Texas.
I could not point to Shriner University for $1 million.
It's in Kerrville, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's close to Houston. Yeah. Me and that coach, we're going at it. Well, there's the real coach, right? The one that I'm amicable with and we're friends. I've known her for years. But there's some other person running the show. And
Really?
yeah,
Y'all have a grudge?
he's got a problem with me. I don't have a problem with him. I don't even have a problem with him. I'm better. You know what I'm saying? I'm better. We already beat them.
What conference?
So NCAA, right now we don't have conferences because we're just not that large yet. There's over 150 schools that have women's wrestling divided into NCAA, NAIA, and junior in JCAA, and our conference is NCAA. So we'll compete against like the Iowas. They just started a women's team.
I think of TW's having great gymnastics.
Oh yeah, I know. Every time I see their rings, I'm like, that's gonna be us one day.
Yeah.
They keep winning nationals. And I don't
TW's in the
mind.
Lone Star Conference for other
Yeah.
athletics, right?
Mhm. But not for us.
Yeah.
So basically, an independent.
Mhm. Because there just aren't any other schools in the Lone Star Conference that have women's wrestling. So
I was never arrested. It's way too much work.
it's tough sport.
It's
It
a hard
is
sport.
tough. It's definitely
One
the
of my
hardest thing I've
best
ever
friends
done.
in college was on the wrestling team.
Who is?
One of my best friends in
Oh,
college
okay,
was on
yeah.
the wrestling team. So I would train with him on occasion
Mhm.
at the local spa. And he
Mhm.
would always go like the day before the wrestling match.
Go in there and cut
to
weight.
To wet off,
Yeah.
to sweat off as much weight as.
We don't do that on my team. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm really against that. Two reasons. Like when you get into that cycle of losing weight real fast and then giving yourself a week to eat whatever you want, those things just don't go away.
Yeah.
Like you stop wrestling, they don't go away. Two, the idea or the reason behind that is for most people, not everyone, is let me make myself into a bigger body and make myself smaller with the idea of being stronger than my opponents.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. I've never felt that way. I don't care what weight class I'm in. I'm going to beat you.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to beat you. Now, there's a discussion to be had about what weight class I compete best at and how to get there in a good way, drinking my water, nutrition, and maybe I do have to lose 2 or 3 pounds. But this idea of being 30 pounds heavier, dropping my weight just so I can win a match, I'll beat you anyway. I can go any weight class.
Yeah.
I mean that. And I'm teaching that to them. Hopefully they get that too.
Is your team strictly a women's team?
Yes. We only have women's sponsored sports at Texas Women's.
I would have thought, you said the basketball, didn't work out for whatever reason, like you said. I would have thought, I guess my core of my question is, what inspired you to go to wrestling? I mean, I would think maybe trying out for football, and that's kind of an aggressive, grab people kind of sport. What inspired you from going from basketball to wrestling?
So it's in the same season, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like I had to wait, and I was trying to avoid that PE class. We had a women's team. Texas is the second state to have a women's league. And way back when I was in high school, which I graduated in 2001, we had a women's league and a women's state. So it wasn't like I had to jump in and wrestle boys. It wasn't like weird or anything, whereas everywhere else besides California, they didn't have a women's league. So it was just kind of an easy transition. And I didn't go in there to wrestle. I went there to be a manager, and I ended up getting stuck. So that's why I went. Why I stayed was because I enjoyed that challenge. seriously is the toughest thing I've ever done. And it just did, it moved mountains for me as far as self-esteem. Like when knowing that I can get through that, and like even these guys on my team couldn't even do it, and I'm sitting there like beating them at stuff, it like I couldn't let it go. My self-esteem. I was like, I love this. So that's why I stayed.
Maybe I'm in the mindset of, and that's a great point, because, maybe I'm probably in the mindset of like, oh, like, there's not a lot of women's teams, so you're gonna go wrestle, like, with the men's team or whatever, but you're like, oh, we already had a women's
Yeah.
team, so that makes it really.
We had a women's team. The coach there was for it. Like if I was somewhere else, maybe it wouldn't have happened that way. And yeah, it just kind of fit. I never even thought of myself as a combat athlete, but I picked it up really well. Like I just, some things just kind of make sense to you. And for me, it was wrestling makes sense. I get it. Like I get what I need to do a
Talk
little
about the
bit.
Olympic experience.
Yes.
How many people and coaching at the time involved?
Wait, so how many, what's the first question?
Well, how many people, like how large is the team and how many other teams you're competing against?
Okay, so for the U.S. national team, is top 3 girls in the country. And I would say at the time we had about 17 to 20, maybe a hair more of resident athletes at the Colorado Springs Training Center. And then the college girls would come in and wrestle with us during camps and stuff in other countries. So let me back up. Women's wrestling isn't that popular here, but it is everywhere else. China, Japan, wherever, right? And we had a lot of teams that would come and just train with us. So I had partners all the time. For the Olympics, only the top 8, you have to place top 8 at a world event, and then you're invited to compete at the Olympics. I can't remember how many people were in my back bracket, but you have to qualify your weight for the Olympics. So top 8 at Worlds, I think it's like top 3 at Pan Am's, and there's more qualifying tournaments, and each time they get tougher. For me, my weight was qualified at the previous Worlds because the girl who was on the world team had won a bronze medal at Worlds. The person I had to wrestle off for the team is an Olympic silver medalist too. So it was definitely an interesting time in my life. Like it wasn't like it was easy at all. So
You said your first year of college got beat
pretty bad. It was like a whole year for a match.
Getting your medal in the Olympics. There's girls in Kansas saying, I wrestled her, I beat her.
Oh yeah.
Nobody
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
people-
nobody believes.
The people say that all the time, and you know what? Yeah, like it's true, and it's like there's no. I mean, I feel bad for some of these people who have to say that because they never got to see their potential, because they were good too. They were good too, but
The mindset.
I'm here. You're
No,
not.
like you said, like, but you could just have it fun. You could argue and be like, yeah, but I'm a way different wrestler.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, like, yeah, obviously, if we walked on the mat to even today, no way, right? But it's like, I'm happy that I got to see my potential. I never wanted to be one of those people that say, oh, I used to wrestle with them, or I used to be in the same vicinity. I wanted to be the person. Do you know what I mean?
I could have been a contender.
Yeah, no, I needed to know. So I always wanted to be that person. Once I decided I was going to take this on, that was like one of my fears, is like, I don't want to be one of those people that almost beat this person, or I beat this person at this tournament but never made an Olympic team. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so.
I just think it's funny that nobody believes it. Like, you're gonna have to move that story because nobody believes you actually beat them.
Do you know my friend Louise Ritter?
No, Wait, where would I know her from?
Different
Who's
generation.
Louise Ritter?
She's a TW alum. She won the gold medal in the high jump in 1988
Okay,
in
that's
Seoul.
super cool.
Way cool, yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, She's from,
I'm gonna have to look her up now.
look her up.
Yeah, that should be a club.
She's from,
TWF.
I haven't talked to her in a long time, but she's from Red Oak, which is down near Waxahachie.
Okay,
I used to know her very well.
okay, no.
Anyway,
Now,
Louisiana.
high jump is tough sport too.
Yeah.
It's a little scary.
Yeah.
For the Olympics.
I was gonna say, what's been the best, win this year so far, like, any, like, wow, we really should have, like, gone toe to toe with this program, we actually held strong, or actually, any upsets, or
Well, our first duel, I thought I was gonna be able to wrestle a different school that we were more ready for, which that team actually turned out to be pretty tough. So I got to keep my mouth shut about who I think. But we ended up not wrestling them and wrestling a much better team. And 4 of my girls got pins in that duel, which I was not expecting. So I'm like on the side, like, I mean, we lost pretty bad, but they wrestled tough. And I mean, it makes me happy because that's what I'm teaching. I'm like, I don't really care about wins or loss. Like I told you, each level I went up, I spent a year losing. I don't expect you to win. If you did, great, but they're really going out there doing what I'm saying, and that's wrestling tough, not being afraid to attack, pushing that pace, being kind of a jerk out there, which in sport, right? Like it's a fight. We can turn it off after, but during, I want to see that fight come out, and they're really doing that. They don't care who they wrestle. So we wrestled a top 5 team. They didn't care, and 4 of them end up with pins. So yeah.
How does that work in your mind when you're out there battling to the death and then it's over and like, do you still just want to choke them to death? Or
So for me, like,
Is that a turn on?
No.
You're talking about turn on?
so for me, I just had this conversation, right? The rest for me, I can't speak for everybody. For me, the wrestling match is where I get to actually be who I want to be, right? Yeah, I get to actually do what I want to do, and I still hold back, right? But if you like headbutt me or pull my hair or something, I'm like, great.
on.
Now I can do what I want to do, which is beat you, right? The rest, what I'm doing right now, this is fake me. Talking, shaking hands. This is fake.
I'm dying to tee it up with you right now. I'm absolutely dying.
Don't do it. I'm not gonna take it easy. On you.
I'll be down.
I don't do this. It's folk style.
Okay.
You don't
no,
do that?
This is,
We're on the
this is
feet.
not. This
We're on
is,
the feet.
We're on the feet?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Wow.
That's okay.
Oh,
You're already
well.
halfway there. She's already got you
What do you
halfway.
want to learn?
Take time.
Take them down.
Please don't. He's got a
All right.
Do you want to get a picture? This is a 2-on-1.
This was just before I pinned her. Take a picture. Just before I pinned her. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
It's funny. You guys are silly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not prepared for that way.
I wasn't.
It's the only one that take you.
Rennie, you're Olympic.
Is it Wichita Falls? Okay. Yeah.
Olympic coaches are assigned, or do you pull those in from somewhere?
Our Olympic coaches, yeah, so they're assigned, so we have a national team coach who's still there now that coached me, but then they'll bring in like 2 other people that are just assigned as like never worked with the girls or the team. I had a personal coach that I had just, he happened to be there at the same time training another athlete, so I just kind of joined forces with them. But he was not an Olympic coach, even though he like
So what about funding to make all that happen?
for
To
the.
be on the team and to go and travel and train.
So once you're national team, USA Wrestling pays for everything. If you're not, it is difficult. A lot of girls find sponsors, they do camps and clinics, they try to get grants. I knew that if I was going to make this work, I needed to be national team. So I made sure to do that. And then when I left and came back, that's why I joined the Army. Because I just had a hard time asking people for money. I'm like 28 years old. I'm like, hey, so that's why I joined the Army to help fund it. And that's another route to go. However, to be on the Army team, you do need to be like top 5, I think. Yeah.
Basic training had to be a part of it for you. Going in there as a world-class athlete.
it was interesting. I mean, the waking up early and working out, that part was easy. Getting hollered at all the time, I'm like, okay,
yeah.
come on,
Getting you in 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm like, if we were anywhere else.
So,
Again, meet me outside.
Is there a country that is like dominates the women's wrestling?
Yeah, Japan for women's wrestling. That's who beat me at the Olympics. And the girl that I wrestled, not only like was she part of the world renowned team, she never lost. Every Worlds and Olympics, she won a gold medal. So that's who I lost to in the semifinals.
what if you met today?
And she probably still beat me. That girl's good. Man. Yeah, I was really outmatched.
Right.
I was not prepared. But I think if I were to ever take on the USA team job, if that's in my future someday, I can prepare the girls for it because I've been through it. But I had coaches who they don't know anything about what I was about to do. They did their best, but we just didn't know, so.
So what's the future hold? What's the goals?
My goal is, okay, so the next 2 years, I would like to be a top 10 team, if not this year. They can probably do it. By the time they're seniors, I would like to be top 3 and winning it. And my athletic goals stop at 4 years, and then I'll reevaluate and make another set. But short term is top 10, and 4 years, I want them top 3, if not winning. I want 90% graduation rate, and I want at least 1 Olympian.
Oh, wow.
Well, we'll see. That's up to them.
What is the wrestling season from when to when?
We start in November and we end in March, just like the men's.
Right now.
Basketball.
Yeah, same.
And how many matches would you have in that 4-month period?
9. So I have to compete 4 girls at 9 events to qualify for the regional. And then I want to say it's top 5 at regionals that qualifies us for nationals. So I know that I have at least 9, but it's more than that, probably more like 12.
How many people do you travel with?
I travel with the whole team except for the Colorado Mesa trip because we had plane tickets and I couldn't take everyone, but everyone I have bus. If you're healthy, you're going. So.
Is the recruiting process for wrestling pretty much like other sports?
Yeah, I just go and talk to people. A lot of people seek me out. I seek a lot of people out. Just open communication. It's definitely been really hard because I don't have an assistant. It's just me, and balancing the team that I have and building the team has been difficult. So I have a team of freshmen and they require a lot of time. They're brand new to this. And it's just been difficult to get out there and talk to some new girls, but I want to expand the team another 10 to 15 girls next year.
Everybody on the team has high school experience.
Everybody but one, but that girl ended up quitting. But yeah, everybody was pretty good state placers. Not a lot of freestyle experience. I think of myself as a developmental coach. I don't really need you to be good. I just need you to think similar to me, which is I can't spend time or waste time teaching you how to get up in the morning, teaching you to come to practice, teaching you to go to class, teaching you to be like a responsible human being. You kind of already have to be that, right?
Yeah.
So I can maybe have a talented girl who's won worlds at her age group, but doesn't understand how to go to class. That's waste of my time and it's going to stress me out. Or doesn't think that they have to come to practice because they're good, which you were good in high school, but now you're at another level. And if you want to reach the next one, you need to do what I say, right? Like in my opinion. And also like talented girls think I'm crazy and I think they're crazy because my way wasn't talented. So they're like, why do we have to do all this to win matches? I just do this and I win matches. Well, that's not my paradigm. And I'm the one running the team. So it's just easier to get someone who thinks like me and is going to come up this way. And that makes me a developmental coach, not someone who can keep someone happy. You know what I mean?
Is there somewhere local? So is there any matches local that people can go watch? Or
Yes, we
We
have.
got the one in the back who's asking the question.
Oh, yes, we have a tri-dual January 25th. I'll let you know and I'll send you a
Please.
schedule and hopefully you can tell everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Kitty McGee?
Yes. And we're wrestling Texas Wesleyan, which we're gonna get beat, but University of the Ozarks, we should do pretty well against them.
You mentioned assistant. Is there a budget for an assistant?
I'm supposed to be getting one next year. Oh, also, we need a lot of things. So if you want to be involved with the program or help us fundraise, please.
Yeah. I'm dying to get in. Wouldn't that be-
Please let me know and I'll help
He could be
you
the
do
team
that.
mascot.
Oakley.
So, some of the team is cross-trained in other sports as well, right?
What do you mean?
They're doing golf or volleyball.
My team?
Right.
No, they're just wrestling.
And then they're off after the season's over.
Well, okay, good question, right? So we still do college wrestling and international wrestling just like they did when I was a kid. So although I can only train them off-season hours, which is like 6 hours a week or something like that, we'll still be competing in the international events. So we'll go to women's nationals, which is age group worlds. So think Olympic team, but like 16 and under, 17 and under, 21 and under, 23 and under. So we'll
Independently rather than involved with the school.
No, it's part of our championship segment. So we'll do it as TWU. So we'll go to women's nationals and we'll go to world team trials and then we're done. And that's in April and then May. And if anybody makes a team, which they won't this year, if anybody makes the team, they'll wrestle all summer.
The reason I ask is because I remember in school, we had some assistant coaches that would come in.
Mhm,
They were college students
mhm.
and they were showing us things that normally a phys ed coach wouldn't show, like
Okay.
gymnastics and things of that.
Yeah, yeah,
nature.
yeah.
So if that happens with your school where one of the ladies would go to a high school somewhere.
Yeah, no, they
recruited as a
definitely.
Student teacher, so to speak.
They definitely can go out and do camps and do clinics and just volunteer their time if they want in the off season. We still train, just not as much as we are right now.
So last question for me is TWU, they wanted to start the program, the
Yeah,
wrestling program. And so they
they
opened it up. Did they seek you out or did you?
I applied. A lot of good people applied. I heard, so I'm happy I won it out. But yeah, they wanted to start a team. I think our athletic director, Sandy Mott, she was like, okay, we're thinking about what kind of students do we want to bring into this school. And they thought wrestling would be a good fit. Like the kind of women that would want to wrestle, they thought would be a good fit to add to the school.
I just visualize you applying for this job and you're in the waiting room with the other candidates and you look around and you're wearing a medal around you.
I was the only Olympian, but
Where is your Olympic medal? Right this second.
I don't think, wait, hold on, let me think. I might have it in the car. No, I put it away. It's in a drawer in my kitchen.
No
In
kidding.
the
Yeah.
kitchen.
I would have thought that it would be on the mantle or.
Nah.
or something.
I'd be wearing it everywhere.
No.
See, that would be me though.
Here
I
it
would
is.
have it in the kitchen because I'd be like, hang on, let me get you a drink. And I'd walk back with it on.
One more thing, Rick.
Sure.
Denia Park or Denia Rec Services
Mhm.
offers things in the summers for students or anyone. Is that something that you guys pursue?
So I was thinking about starting a club with the MLK Recreation Center, I think, in town.
Yeah.
And I was too busy to kind of figure it all out last year and a little bit too busy this year. But I did read in there that there was a no contest clause. And eventually I do want to start my own club. So that's just something that I just didn't want to move forward with. Plus just not having enough time to figure out when, where, how, and all that. So
So Denton Parks and Recreation might accept something like that.
they were looking to start a club. And if that's something you guys want to do, I'll help. But I do want to do my own club one day, so I probably won't do it.
I think Kiwanis wrestling is. I think the time is right.
It'd be good because there isn't any wrestling in Denton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Joe's gonna retire.
I'm in the bionic division. Metal in my body.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Joe and I can't show our medals. We wear an entire.
Keith and I can't get on an airplane for
Oh, no.
love or money.
You're gonna set off the alarm.
We're gonna get that random every time. Randy, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great fun.
We have a gift for you, which is our Kiwanis coffee mug. There's our symbol there. Denton Breakfast Kiwanis, our slogan, "We Build." I think that's probably your slogan as well.
Yeah.
And-
Build you up.
And here are the classes or the key clubs that we're happy to sponsor.
Okay.
I wish
Nobody
they
showed up.
they
You're
missed
gonna
out.
add Texas women's
That'd be
wrestling.
great.
Yeah.
That'd be
Your
great.
Olympic medal will fit in there.
We have an end, don't we? We know someone. So this is for you.
Yeah, but you're still.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wonderful presentation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And please send me the information, so. I can
Okay.
get on it.
Will do.
Daniel, Olympic medalist. We can get, we're gonna get an astronaut next one.
Well, the next 2 weeks, we have board member, Denton ISD board member, and then we have
We have one
board member from Denton ISD. School board?
that win an Olympic medal.
No,
No, we
it goes downhill from there.
Oh, Randy, by the way, we do this every Wednesday morning.
So you-
And we'd love to have you, join us.
Sure.
So it's interesting.
And then Chief Shoemaker.
And
Happy New
the
Year,
chief of
everyone.
police will be here.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ken.
Healthy New Year.
We have, you may be familiar with the firefighter here in Denton who lost a leg. Now he's a Paralympic athlete.
Oh, so cool.
And we had him, we had Spider-Man. We have interesting guests, but none more interesting than you.
Oh, okay.
So-
I'm glad you guys liked it.
So next week, same time, same place.
Same time, same place.
We'll see you then. Happy New Year, everyone.
That was fun.
That
Good,
was-
I'm glad you guys liked it.
Now,